the Canadian Lynx, because that's quite a famous cycle,
Yes.
9.6 year cycle.
Yes.
There's some different things to say about it. On the one hand, it turns up there's the snowshoe rabbit, and the cycles of those can be plotted together. And people said, oh, it's a predator-prey relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also, it's a 9.6 year cycle. This runs from 1814 to 1940. We see there's a cycle in salmon,
Yep.
a cycle in tent caterpillars,
Yep.
cycle in ozone, and in heart disease. Now, these ones are all lined up, but the heart disease is a little bit off.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Hmm.
Because these ones are populations, and these are death rates. And the death rate is highest when you're halfway down, and lowest when you're halfway up. So that's a quarter of a phase off from the others. If it was done as human population, it would be much tinier oscillations, but it's happening there also.
Huh.
So there are a number of other reports of 9.6 year cycle. I mentioned the snowshoe rabbit in relation to the lynx.
Yes.
And the lynx, we have longer data going back further, 200 years of data on that.
Yes.
So the 9.6 year cycle is an interesting one, because it was one of the early ones when they had the Matamac conference, one of the ones that they discussed there with these different things.
Yes.
But when Dewey did his table of common cycle periods, it didn't fit anywhere in there. So it's not related to the 17.75 or 35.5 or 8.8 year cycle and so on. And it was only when I began to expand that to the longer cycles were more than 5 times more, and the shorter cycles were 1/7 of that, and then I went to some still longer cycles, climate cycles and stuff, that I realised that it does actually link into those, but it's a sort of it's the end of one batch, and we're in the middle of another batch, and this one really belongs in the other group. So just why that particular one shows up more than perhaps some of the related ones is not clear. But when I worked out the fundamental cycle of the universe in the harmonics theory, which we'll talk about in some other talk, and I calculated them all out and got it, I was fitting it to the common cycles that Dewey found,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't put in the 9.6 year cycle. But it said there should be a 9.6 year cycle.
Oh.
9.638 years it says, and the different ones that Dewey reports are either 9.6 or 9 2/3 years, which is 9.67.
Yeah.
The average of which is 9.63, so pretty close.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
We talked about the Canadian Lynx.
Yes, we
cycle.
did. 9.6.
Here's a better quality graph of it, so that's the one we should use wherever we can. Dewey calls this an example of an especially dominant cycle. We're ranging from 1973-5 to 1962-63, and he's drawn a dotted line there showing an ideal cycle of 9.6 years.
Yeah.
And we can see that it does follow that. This is a log scale. So what we're seeing at these troughs is about 5,000 or 6,000, and at the peaks 60,000, 50, 60,000.
Yeah.
So the population is multiplying by 10
Yes.
and dividing by 10 in
Oh.
9.6 years, and
Wow.
it's repeating that regularly. So it's an extremely strong cycle. There are cycles like that in some other things, not 9.6 years, but I think 4 point something in lemmings, and I suspect that that's the thing where Walt Disney ended up drawing lemmings jumping off the cliff, right?
Yeah.
That's not what happens, but
Okay.
but they went somewhere. They died off and they came back, and they died off and they came back. So that's a 9.6 year cycle. And
Striking differences in periodicity and accuracy.
Yeah.